Looking directly at the sun really hurts your eyes. But you know what's even more painful? Seeing a line of cheerleaders posing and pouting in front of a bunch of jocks. I just wanted to study quietly in the gym, but I completely forgot it was audition day for this year's football muse. Suddenly, I let out a huge sneeze, and every single head turned to look at me. Dude, there she is! Even the way she sneezes is pretty. I think we just found our muse. She's going to be perfect for the team. The biggest brat in the universe. Candace had a violent reaction. Excuse me, are you guys blind? This peasant isn't even a cheerleader! Look at her messy hair and cheap clothes. But someone shot back. The point is, she's still the prettiest. Candace glared at me with murder in her eyes, and that was my signal to run. She chased after me and grabbed my shirt. You're just our stupid maid's daughter. Always remember that. I reached for her arm and twisted it away. At least I'm prettier than you. Always remember that. Then I flipped my hair and ran for my life. I knew I'd pay for that later, but it was so worth it. Hi, my name is Stellar, and all I ever wanted was a peaceful life with my mom. But that's impossible when you live with billionaire brats from hell. Before I continue, please like and subscribe to my channel. My mom has been working for a super rich lady, Mrs. Branson, since I was a kid. In return, she gave us a small cottage next to the mansion and paid my tuition at a private school. She might sound generous, but she only did it because no other maid could put up with her. She was mean and rude, and I hated her to the core. She had twins my age, Candace and Julian, and they were just as bad as their mother. Thankfully, Julian left for boarding school 7 years ago, but I still had Candace to deal with. She's always been jealous of me for being prettier and smarter than her. And because of what happened in the gym, she forced me to do all her homework. One night, while I was studying, I heard loud voices outside. I went to check and saw Mrs. Branson yelling at my mom in front of all her guests. How dare you serve us with silver utensils? Where are the gold ones? Did you steal them? It was so humiliating. As my mom apologized over and over, Mrs. Branson just kept shaming her. I wanted to punch her fake lips so badly, but my mom gave me a look to behave. I didn't do anything then, but the next day, I snuck into the kitchen and sprinkled the hottest chili powder in the world into their soup. A few minutes later, I heard screams coming from the dining room. It was payback time! Later, I was grinning from the balcony, watching both witches run around the mansion with their tongues on fire. I felt so pleased with myself. But Mom was furious. She told me Mrs. Branson fired the cook because of what I did. I pretended I had no idea what she was talking about, but she saw right through me. I know it was you, she said. How many times do I have to tell you to stay out of trouble? I tried to explain, but those two are just horrible. Mom sighed. We have to put up with them. At least until you graduate high school. There are just a few months left. Please, Gia reluctantly agreed. But a few days later, my mom fell down the stairs and broke her ankle. She couldn't walk for months, so I had to take her place. This only made Candace happier because she could boss me around even more. She made me do the stupidest tasks, like painting tiny hearts on her nails and braiding her boyfriend's long hair. And when Mrs. Branson informed me that Julian was coming back, I just knew things were about to get worse. After cleaning up his room, I felt so exhausted that I sat on his couch to rest for just 5 minutes. And I completely dozed off. When I woke up, I saw a guy with the most beautiful green eyes staring right at me. Was I dreaming? He looked so majestic. Then he spoke. Hello, Buttface. Did you miss me? Buttface! That's what Julian used to call me. Oh, you're here. Sorry. I got so tired that I fell asleep. He smirked. Seems like you were having a very interesting dream. Was it about me? I shot back. Yeah. I dreamed that I was punching your liver. He just laughed, still feisty as ever. Why are you in a maid's uniform? Where's your mom? I explained she'd had a small accident and I was replacing her temporarily. Then I quickly excused myself, saying I had a lot to do. Later that night, as I was serving dinner, I noticed Julian's eyes following me everywhere. He even purposefully brushed his hand against mine. What was up with this jerk? And why did he have to turn out so far? One night, I saw Mrs. Branson throwing one of her designer bags in the trash just because it had a small stain. After making sure everyone was asleep, I sneaked out and took it. But when I told Mom, she got scared. What if she finds out you stole it? You know that woman. She'll make our lives hell,
I argued.
Technically, I didn't steal it because she'd already thrown it out. If the bag was alive, I'm sure it would prefer to be with the cute owner instead of rotting in the garbage. Right? She just shook her head. I will never win against you. Exactly, I replied. The next day at school, we were in the middle of an exam when suddenly, the girls started squealing. We all turned to the door to see Julian peeking in with a smile. What was he doing here? The other day, Julian, my ridiculously popular stepbrother, suddenly waved at me and blew me a kiss. My stomach did this weird flip, and as soon as he left, my friend Candace elbowed me. My brother's just messing with you, so stop dreaming. You're not his type. I shot back. Oh, trust me, he's not my type either. But seriously, even if he was, I had to stay away. Getting involved with Julian meant one thing. Trouble. One afternoon, he was working out in the living room and called me over. Do you think my muscles look hard enough? Or should I work out more? Honestly, they were a masterpiece, but I'd never tell him that.
I think you should get a life, sir.
He just grinned and lay down, asking me to hold his feet while he did crunches. I held my breath, realizing how close our lips were every time he sat up. He was totally doing this on purpose. Excuse me? Are you flirting with me? He just smirked. Am I that obvious? If you think you can add me to your long list of girlfriends, you're mistaken. He chuckled. You're really amusing. Too bad you lost those chubby cheeks. I can't call you buttface anymore. Should I call you sweetface now? I cringed. Wow, that is so cheesy. What school did you go to? Wattpad High. He just laughed and reached out to pinch my cheeks. You're so cute, especially when you blush. It's a blush of hatred. Anyway, I have a mountain of laundry to do, so bye. I bolted before things got any weirder. I tried my best to avoid him at school, but he was always doing something silly to get my attention. Then, one of my friends started pestering me. Hey, I saw that hottie from the other class flirting with you yesterday. Are you guys like a thing, EW?
No.
I don't date players. Okay, that's amazing. Maybe I'll ask him out then. Before I knew it, I was grabbing her hair. Don't even think about it. She was totally shocked. And honestly, so was I. It hit me then. I actually had a crush on Julian.
But I would never, ever admit it.
A week later, my stepmom hosted this huge New Year's Eve party. I was helping in the kitchen, and I couldn't help but notice Julian staring at me all night. It made me feel excited for some reason. Later, while I was washing dishes, I felt someone breathe down my neck. Want to get out of here? It was Julian. Your mom's going to kill me! He leaned closer. So you're scared. Where's that fearless little girl who used to kick my butt? And just like that,
I was sold.
we snuck out, slipped into a sports car, and I asked, where are we going? He just smiled and said, wherever fate takes us. I was so ready for the adventure. I was so confused when he brought me to a grass field. Why are we here exactly? You'll have to wait for it. As we sat on the car's hood, we started talking. Why do you like racing so much? It's so dangerous. Racing makes me feel like I'm flying, like I'm alive and free. How about you? Do you still want to become a nurse? Of course. Remember when you stole my stethoscope when we were kids? It was so cute how you ran around and listened to random people's heartbeats. Oh, look! There it is! Suddenly, the night sky was filled with the most spectacular fireworks. I remember you wanted to see those New Year's fireworks so badly when we were kids. But you missed them because Candace and I locked you in a bathroom. Yep, you both are horrible creatures. I'm sorry about that.
I was a dumb kid.
I felt butterflies as we watched the fireworks in silence. I closed my eyes, just enjoying the colors. And when I opened them again, he was staring at me. He was leaning in closer when suddenly my phone started to ring. It was Mrs. Branson. Your mom is calling. We need to go back. Can we make it in 10? Try me. He winked before stepping on the pedal. And the next thing I knew, I was screaming as he drove like a maniac. The party wasn't over when we got back. As we sneaked in from the back, we suddenly saw Mrs. Branson walking towards us. Just then, Julian pushed me down to my knees. Why can't you find it? Are you blind? I immediately got what he meant. So I started crawling around, pretending to find something. Stellar, I've been looking for you. What are you doing here? I dropped my ring, Mom, and I'm asking her to look for it. Mrs. Branson seemed to believe us. I was so relieved. But later that night, as I was clearing the mess, I almost fell back in fright to see her standing behind me. Do you really think that I have no idea what you're up to? I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. Stop with your acting, Stellar. And don't forget your place in this house. You're a maid, just like your mom. And that's all you'll ever be. Stay away from my son. I'd already expected this to happen. So I started avoiding Julian as much as possible. I couldn't afford to get us thrown out while Mom was unwell. But it was hard, especially when I found out Julian had fallen really sick. After making sure Mom was asleep, I sneaked into the mansion and into his room. He seemed to be having a really high fever, and he looked so vulnerable as he slept.
I stayed by his side.
I stayed by his side for hours, and just as I was about to leave, he suddenly pulled me down and kissed me. I got lost for a few seconds, but then quickly pulled away. That was a mistake. I shouldn't even be here. He looked at me, his eyes full of sincerity. It's not a mistake. I really like you, Stellar, and I hope you feel the same. Stop liking me, Julian, I said, my voice shaking.
We won't work out. I'm not the girl for you.
I won't fit into your world, and your family will never approve of us. Please, he begged, stop thinking about other people. Just tell me how you feel. I chose not to answer and walked out, but I couldn't stop thinking about him for days. A few days later, Candace and her friends were having a pool party, and I went out to serve them drinks. I saw Julian was with them, and one of the girls was all over him. Seeing that made my blood boil. I slammed the tray down and turned to Julian. Excuse me, sir, but can you please come to the kitchen for a moment? I need to show you something. He looked confused but followed me. What is it? I grabbed a tray and tapped it on his head. Stars. Can you see them? He smirked. I can only see a jealous girl. But you're the one who told me we won't work. Stellar, he said softly. So that's it. Now you suddenly don't have feelings for me. You're just a player, Julian. One day you're kissing me. The next day, you're flirting with some girl. Just then, he gently pushed me against the wall and kissed me. And this time, I kissed him back. I couldn't stay away from him anymore. We began dating in secret. We started sneaking out at night, driving around, and we had the best nights of our lives. But then one day, he looked at me seriously and said, I'm tired of seeing you secretly, Stellar. I just want to let the world know that I'm dating an amazing girl like you. But I'm just a maid, I reminded him. I'm sure it will be a huge problem with your family. I know it's not going to be easy, he insisted. But I'll find a way. I just need you to trust me. And I did. A week later, Julian's dad came back from abroad, and Mrs. Branson held a huge party. During the event, I looked for Julian, but he was busy with his guests and didn't look my way once. I didn't think much of it until Mrs. Branson stepped onto the grand staircase and asked for everyone's attention. Since we're all gathered here tonight, I can't wait to share some amazing news. My son Julian and our business partner's daughter, Casey, are engaged. Cheers to the lovely couple. I stared at Julian in complete shock as he joined his mom with Casey, the same girl who'd been flirting with him by the pool. He looked so happy. How could he do this to me? I felt completely dazed. As I was leaving the room in tears, Candace suddenly stepped right in front of me with a smirk.
Oh,
I warned you.
you're not his type.
Not every Cinderella gets her Prince Charming. Hearing that, I turned red with rage.
I was still holding a tray of appetizers, and I slammed it right in Candace's face.
Everyone gasped and stared at me, and I just left as fast as I could.
I ran back to our cottage and started packing our things.
We have to leave.
Mom?
But why? What's happening?
Sweetie?
I can't stay here. Not another minute. We'll be thrown out anyway, so we might as well go ourselves. I cried as I told her everything, and she started helping me pack. As the cab drove us away from that mansion, Mom took my hand. We should have left years ago, but I was too weak. I just let us suffer without doing anything.
No, Mom. You're so strong for putting up with everything for me.
Don't worry, we're going to get through this together. We had enough savings to rent a cheap apartment, and I also sold that branded bag I'd taken from the trash. It was actually worth a small fortune, with some money to get by. We both started looking for jobs. Mom fully recovered soon and started working as a hotel maid while I worked as a waitress. I also applied for a scholarship to a nursing school, and luckily, I got in. I studied and worked hard for 5 years and was finally an intern at a huge hospital. One day, I found a bouquet of roses in my hospital locker, and I hated myself for wishing it was from Julian. But it wasn't. It was from a patient I'd taken care of some time ago, Enrique.
He admitted he liked me and asked me out.
Enrique was charming and sweet, but I told him I was too busy for love. But boy, was he persistent? He kept showing up and asking me out in the funniest ways, and after months, I finally decided to give him a chance. One evening, as I was stepping out of my apartment to meet Enrique, I bumped straight into someone. When I looked up, I saw that it was Julian. What? What are you doing here? Are you going out on a date? You look lovelier than ever. Are you kidding me? You're not even ashamed to face me after what you did. And now you're flirting with me? Just wow. I wonder what your wife would have to say about that. I didn't marry her. I didn't want to spend my life being miserable. I also cut ties with my family.
Do I look like I care? It's been 5 years, Julian.
Please, just get lost.
Could say another word. I walked away, shaking with rage. I wondered if he was telling the truth, but even so, he broke my heart in front of everyone, and I could never forgive
him for that. Julian had somehow gotten a hold of my number, and he kept texting me to meet him once, but I kept ignoring him. One day at the hospital, we received a patient who'd been in a bad car accident, and when I looked at the patient chart, my heart leaped into my throat. It was Julian. I rushed to his room and took his hand as tears streamed down my cheeks. He suddenly opened his eyes and started talking. I tried to calm him down, but he wouldn't stop. You have to listen to me. Stellar Mom threatened to put your mom away in jail for stealing if I didn't break up with you. I knew she really meant it, so I agreed to do something that would make you hate me and drive you far away. I was young and weak, and I thought I was doing the right thing, but now I've cut off my face family and made something of myself, and there's no point to anything if I don't have you in my life. Gosh, you wanted my attention. You have it. Just shut up and be strong for me right now, okay? Only if you say you love me, because I do. I'll see how I feel after a few dates, so you better get. Wilson knew I bent down and kissed him on the lips, and his blood pressure shot up from excitement.